Thank you. We don't have any appointments. The statutory business, I'm going to make a suggestion that we flip the order here, because we do have a representative here from the second item, so we can discuss that one first, if everyone's okay with that. Do you want to join us? Feel free. You can come sign in right there and make this a conversational. I'm kind of not really expecting you to be here, so I'm glad you are. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just if you would just please sign in, and if you're comfortable, maybe just give us a quick overview of what you're trying to do, and we can go from there. Thank you, Cindy.
All I'm trying to do is at 19 West Road, just divide it into 2 lots, and just wanted to make sure I showed up to see if you guys had any comments on anything with the wetlands, because there is a substantial wet area to the right-hand side.
So the plan we're looking at now, that's the existing lot now, right? This entirety.
I'd have to the entire plan, yeah. The entire
And the new lot's
the
gonna
new lot is, if I went like
proposed.
this,
This is
the new lot is back here. The proposed is back to the
with the frontage coming up to West Road on the side over here.
correct. Yeah, yes, that would be the new lot. Yep.
Yep.
Did you introduce yourself?
I'm Robert Lavoie.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. Thank you, Tom.
Good. We don't require name tags, and
Yep.
it helps the guys watching, or who will be watching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I'm not going to be the one shoveling that driveway.
No,
So-
you won't be shoveling that driveway.
No.
If you are, then you're really in trouble.
You had a question on the.
Sure. So it looks like the existing gravel drive is within the wetland buffer.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any? Are you? I guess the question is that so that's true then, right? So is it a gravel drive that's in the wetland buffer?
It's gravel right now. That's what I intended to stay.
Yeah. All
Is
right.
gravel.
So within that wetland buffer in the gravel drive, you've got a utility easement. What kind of utilities are you planning on putting in there?
I put a utility easement just in case if anyone, the lots are going to have private wells,
Yeah.
but just in case if anyone wanted to put town water in the future,
Okay.
that would be there. It does have above ground power right now.
Okay.
The power's above, so I wanted to make sure that was
Yeah.
in the easement to accommodate the other lot.
So the
So-
above ground power, is that on the wetland side or is that on the opposite side?
Opposite side.
Okay.
It'd be to the north.
Yep. All right.
Yep. I think I have that right, saying it to the north.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it'd be to the north. Actually, there isn't anything going to the south side. Anything that has to be proposed upgrade would be to the north.
To the okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So, is there in the gravel drive? Is there any sort of stormwater culverts or
No.
any trenches or drenching to direct the water, or does it just it
Nope.
runs off the drive and goes
Correct.
wherever it goes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was looking at this, my concern is that if there was going to be extensive utility work done, that would be in the wetland buffer.
The only thing that there would no utility work would be done in the wetland buffer.
Mm-hmm.
If it was done, it would be to the north,
North.
out of the wetland buffer, but that would be the only thing that could be put in is town water.
Okay. That
On that.
and our concerns, when you're that close to such a large wetland, which is a functional wetland, that we, would be concerned about fertilizer use and stuff like that, and we would recommend that
Yep.
that you stay away from phosphorus in your fertilizer, and
Okay.
try and honestly, we've been advocating for a while now to developments and subdivisions that the folks actually have their soil tested before they even think about adding fertilizer, because they might find that their soil has the appropriate amendments in it already,
Okay.
and then you're just wasting your money. So
Yep.
it's worth taking the few dollars. You can contact the New Hampshire Cooperative Extension and arrange for soil testing to be done. So
Okay. Yep. I assume that would be one of your comments.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a pretty
Yep.
traditional comment that
Yep.
we make. So
Yep.
so that, and if your slopes, which I don't see topo on here, but
The second page has got some,
second page. Okay, I only looked at the first page, so it's not that significant, I guess. That you
those are two lot division, those are
Yeah.
2-foot divisions, so.
that you look at the use of de-icing compounds or salt and stuff like that, and that close to a wetland, if you can get away with just sanding the drive, that would be much better
Okay.
than doing it or having the contractor, whoever owns the lots, their contractor using
But
salt.
These are gonna stay gravel.
As far as right now, that's
Yeah.
that's my intention, yeah, gravel.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
To the south of the potential house where the driveway goes in,
Mm-hmm.
is that like, you have town sewage, right? Is that like
No, it's a
that?
leaching field.
That's a leach field.
Yeah,
That's up
Yeah.
yeah, so I thought it said town sewage was on here.
Nope.
Okay.
It's
All right.
private
So it
septic.
is I just thought maybe that
Yep.
was the case.
No, there isn't sewage out there, so yeah, no, that's just private septic. Yep.
So that's gonna be a shared drive then for those two, for the house
Up
and
to that
and the
point,
potential?
correct, yep.
Okay.
Why does the driveway go off to the right, too? Are you-
That's a requirement from the fire department
Oh, okay.
for a fire truck to
Turn around.
Oh.
Turn around.
turn around, so that was their
Smart.
requirement.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of information, your plantings gonna be happening, so one of our common responses is, any plantings, anything you put in, please make sure they're native,
Okay.
so we don't have any exotics and.
Yeah, I don't
The next
think there's
invasive.
gonna be anything,
Yeah.
other than just some foundation plantings, there isn't anything that's really, I don't, maybe a future homeowner plant a tree or something, but that's,
Right.
yeah.
We just ask people to be conscious of the non-natives
Okay.
when we're putting them in.
yeah, especially that area of town, it's pretty natural out that way. So
Yes, it is.
so.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
Anything
does anyone
else?
have any?
Okay.
Any
That's
questions, anyone? All right, okay. Well, we'll, just those recommendations we gave you just now, we'll put that together and get that up to the planning board for tomorrow.
Awesome, thank you. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure you didn't have any other.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Appreciate
coming
it.
in.
Thanks for
Thank
moving me
you.
out.
I went to the wrong one. I thought you were over there at the other place. It's
not.
kind of empty over there until the school board people started showing up.
You're next, Brett, why don't you come right on up? If you could, please sign in too, if you would.
That'll help somebody out at 2 o'clock in the morning. Watching this, trying to watch this and sleep at the same time.
If you wouldn't mind, if you just give us an overview of what you got going on here, and that would be, get us going.
Okay. So the first piece of what we were doing was the lot line adjustments. So that would be, well, it's the one before the detailed plan, so it's the more open space looking drawings. The one that says lot line adjustment plan. That's the one. So the, I guess I'll just take them one at a time. If you look at parcel A to the south side of Wilson Hill Road there, just to the right of 4A-22, that piece of land is to be transferred to Sean Farrell, who owns the property on 3 sides of that. There's like that little hammerhead that sticks off of the one, well, 4A-22 is 136 Wilson Hill Road. So that piece is to go to Sean, and then parcel, I'm not sure why we have C and E. Oh, because, yeah, all right, anyway, that property, let's just do it this way. So C and E, that property, all those stuff with the dots in it there, that's also to be transferred to Sean Farrell, that same lot. So, does everybody see the outline of what's to go to Sharon then? Okay, so then if you look up there, there's that little triangle piece with the diagonal lines in it.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck do I have?
A small plan.
We have another set in there, if you want to grab.
Well,
I'm okay.
okay, so that's okay. No, I see what you're looking at. I was looking at, there's 2 pieces. So there's B down there, and then up on Wilson Hill Road, there's the other.
D.
Yeah, D.
The other
You guys could explain this to me. So those pieces are going to 4A-22. I own, at the top at Wilson Hill, I own that lot that's doing the lot line adjustment with 4A-22. And that bottom corner, parcel B, that's what Sean currently owns, that piece.
Who currently owns D?
That's me. Yeah. All right, so D is attached to a kind of a, God, I wish I would have started with the original plots, but I know Gage knows what I'm talking about here.
I think D and E, I think were the same parcel at one time, right?
D, E, and 4A3 is what 4A3 is on this picture at 12.129 acres, plus E and plus D. That was 4A3. It wrapped around 4A5.
Okay.
So it was just, and 4A3 has been approved for a lot up near the road. It's a tiny little building area before the stream, up north of the stream there. And then all of that, I think some of it could be proved that it's out of the floodplain. I used to walk it all the time trying to figure out how I could. But more or less, that's all in floodplain or wet or real nice conservation stuff. It's, never going to be built on. Especially once we do all this, there's no way to get to it. So, yeah. So I own that lot and then 136, and of course Sean has the bigger picture over to the right. He's giving me that little corner piece. The reason for that was to he kind of liked the idea of keeping A from being buildable, and he gave me that little corner piece because he's got some high ground down there that allows us to draw the lines on the next page to come up with the 100,000 contiguous. That's the master plan.
Isn't this, because I've been in this person's backyard here, that's behind parcel C, and there's like a big drop off. So parcel
Yeah.
C, isn't that, when
Yeah.
you're standing there, you kind of
Yep.
look way up?
Absolutely. That's all of that you're talking about. It's
It's like
Bremen
nothing.
Court, Springfield,
Yeah, the backyard that I was on was in Springfield Circle.
yeah,
And I remember looking down going, whoa.
exactly. So that's exactly it. You're looking,
Yeah.
in most cases, it drops off, and that's not exactly, but when they did that golf course community there, all of those backyards, whether they extended into there or not, they kind of, it's just like the 100-year floodplain kind of wraps around the back of them. So yeah, you're right. It's pretty steep back in there. Good deer hunting back in there,
Which is why Sean wants it.
which is why Sean wants it. Which is why he probably doesn't want a bunch of people tromping through there. Right, Sean?
Wow, that was quite a rearrangement of lot lines.
Yeah.
So your goal is to have a couple of buildable lots out of all this?
There's actually four buildable lots that actually are more or less. They're on what's currently 136 Wilson Hill Road.
That's 4A22.
Yeah, 4A22. Now it's 4A22 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, so that's with the partial D, that's how you got the frontage on Wilson Hill for 4A22, right? That's that extra little triangle?
Yes.
Okay. That is pretty steep there, isn't it?
It's really steep.
Do you have a topo of that? You don't have a topo of the back.
The second page has got some,
Oh yeah, but that's nothing compared to what she's talking about. The
No.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, you've seen me try to go up a hill. It wasn't pretty, but I don't think that I could get down that hill, so.
Plus, it's pretty grown over in there.
I see a shoe out there, I'll know.
It would be mine.
Plus, most of the leaf and grass piles behind that hill make it hard to climb that hill too, which is probably not supposed to be there, but that's the perfect place for them, is right on the back of that hill as far as some people are concerned.
all right, so the second phase of this then is the buildable lots?
Yes. The one labeled subdivision plan there that has, 4A22, 22, 1, 2, and 3.
Mm.
So with your full buildable lots, I see you've got room for wells. You've got room for septic, I suppose.
Yeah, we did all the test pits and well locations and, the driveway entrances and all of that. There was a plan, I'm not sure if you had it, that had more of a proposed look at exactly where the homes would go on it, but I don't see that.
No, we didn't get that.
I'm just looking where the wells are, and that kind of tells you somewhat where.
Right.
it is,
Well, the one that has, that's tight and close to wetland is 4A22-3. That's
Yeah.
pretty specific that house is gonna have to be up tight to the road, probably at the minimum setback.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got the lines that tell us where the building lines are.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's a little bit of steepness there too.
There is. That's not the best lot. But they have, I mean, it's good sandy soils and everything for the, I know that they like the soils for the test pits.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I dug the holes and they were easy to dig, and usually when they're easy to dig, they like the soils, I guess.
So you're going up in front of the planning board just to get the lots approved. There's no building there's no buildings going on here yet. There's no plans.
There's nothing going on. I mean, we received conditional approval last week,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and it was conditional to, well, I thought you guys might have seen that already. There's a pretty long list of little odd, most of it's pretty small stuff, and then your
Our comments, right.
your recommendations, yeah.
Yep.
So the only thing that's going on, and that's required, is we gotta take that barn down, and the house on the other side, it's too close to the road to to try to, it's just too tight to the road we had a plan to kind of peel it back, use the structure, and do a reclaimed barn house there, but it's gotta be taken down.
Are there any current drainage coming off the roadways or anything like that going onto this
Yeah,
lot?
there is, and there was some discussion about it. I don't remember technically what they're talking about, but there's, oh, I got a tiny little thing here.
You want the bigger one? I'll give you the bigger one.
Yeah, could I?
Yeah, no
Thanks
problem.
again, yeah.
Just grab one of these.
Just wanted to get a
Oh,
feel for
beautiful.
where the
Thank you.
drain goes.
No, I'm good.
I'll give it back.
Actually, probably have a really big set here. Want these?
No, I can see it here now. There's a culvert that crosses the road at, oh geez, it's right on the east line of 4A22-1.
Yeah.
The thing that says proposed drainage easement?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was discussion on that, and some comments made by the planning board relating to me it sounded like just that wasn't disturbed, the flow that it's trying to take right now, that it keeps, I guess. Is that what they would have been questioning?
The planning board letter, February 22nd, it's got some statements in the back. I'm not sure if there were things that you have to fix, or are they just, statements. I mean, the catch basins on the north side of the road are not connected. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah, there was some discussion about them being connected. They thought they were, and they weren't. So I think when in the first discussion with the highway department or something, that there was a comment made in the first plan that they were, and they're not.
Okay.
So they wanted it to be stated.
So they're just clarifying.
They're clarifying
Okay,
that
all
it was written wrong
Okay.
somewhere, and they said, yeah, that's right, it isn't connected. We assumed that it should have been, and it wasn't. So I'm pretty sure you're right. It's just changing a lot of it's just changing some wording.
Okay.
Yeah. Beyond that, that's pretty much form stuff
Yeah.
in that letter.
Well, to change the the lot lines would be very different now to say, sure, you can change the lot lines than if you, because they're not asking for permission to build. So at this point, if he's coming to us saying, can we change the lot lines, do we look into consideration of building in the future, or do we just look
yeah.
at it as?
Absolutely. This will be the last chance we see this.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Assuming all these lots are now permitted, they're all available as real lots, unless they decide to move the building structure somewhere where they would encroach on a wetland, we probably won't see this again,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, and they can't do anything with it until they meet all these
Okay.
conditions.
Right.
And the plans are signed by the planning board.
Okay.
So, that's why they give them, like 6 months or something to,
Pardon me?
that's, sometimes they
Oh, they give us that much time.
give you 6 months to put this stuff together and then.
Yeah, well, I think we'll have that done by next week.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They're just, it's just one of
Right.
those pro forma,
Right.
just so everybody gets treated the same.
That's right. I like that part.
And that's what you would work the extensions off of, that 6-month deadline. If you
Right.
had to, if the project had to go out.
Right. Right.
All the soils information indicates probably no problems with with leach fields and all that stuff, so.
Yeah, the engineers seem to think, that the soils were great.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
Yeah,
the
looking
reason
on
some of
your
those
legend.
mistakes are on that plan is we originally went to the town with a plan based on soils.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, probably, that the restrictive zone overrides the soils, even though it's a little unclear in the plans. And
Yeah.
the engineer was like, no, these soils are great. And we had reduced setbacks, we had another lot. There was all, you could do 200 feet of frontage, and I was like, no, that looks too easy. There's no way. So then we tried to make those changes and get them back in time to meet the meeting, but they felt it was better to get the plans all done and then send them back out to everybody. And then the meeting was canceled because it snowed.
Right.
So it didn't make any difference, so, yeah. But bottom line is they like the soils and even think maybe we'll get some nice shallow wells
Yeah.
for whoever cares about water.
So is this looking to be like a development, or is this just,
It's a simple subdivision, 4 lots.
Okay.
No road, there's no road design,
okay.
nothing.
There's not curbs or anything, so there'll be no curb cuts or anything. Drivers will just come right up and meet Wilson Hill Road.
Yeah, there was some discussion on that was brought up by Mike in the meeting, who lives on Wilson Hill Road, that suggested that within reason, I forget the way that's worded there, that we do our best to 5 or 6 feet on either side,
Yeah,
to peel it back where we can. We talked about the fact that the stone walls are pretty much a mess anyway, and maybe we rebuild them a little further back. But we're supposed to attempt to make a
Cleared and graded space.
cleared, right, like
Yeah.
not necessarily a paved apron, but the same kind of an idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mess with the stone walls on Wilson Hill Road.
And they wanted us
When I
to,
first moved into town, the arguments over that.
right. Well, some of them have to be shifted, and some of the trees are going to have to come down for the sight distance.
Yeah.
For some reason, subdivision that was done down the road a few years back only needed 250 feet of sight distance, and we need 400 feet. So it's kind of neat when things are all the same for everybody.
Yeah, well, I've,
Actually, I shouldn't say we
I
need
think I was on the
400 feet.
planning board.
I shouldn't say 400 feet. We need what meets whatever that code is for a
Traffic.
40 mile an hour road, which I think it comes out to 305 feet.
Yeah.
But it's pretty substantial for in there. And there's going to be some of that stone wall is going to come down. I think the one in particular is at the, right up by the old barn. Right where that stone wall comes in there, in between that little sliver there, that actually was the property line.
Is that big tree coming down?
That's got to come down right away. No, I'm just kidding you. That's one thing that everybody agrees on, that tree's going to stay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not, it doesn't bother where we
More
have it.
important than the barn to me.
Yeah,
How old
yeah.
is the barn?
How old?
Yeah, about,
Oh, a couple 100 years old.
oh, it is, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the tree's probably older.
Yeah,
The tree is, it was probably planted there, right?
yeah, probably.
Because it's a sycamore.
Sycamore, right? Yeah, it's only a couple of sycamores on that
geez.
road, so,
Yeah.
There's, Nelson has one,
yeah.
and,
Had one.
Had one, he doesn't live there anymore.
right, still his, and
Should I
it's
say
still.
that on the speaker?
But, yeah, that tree was so cool. I called the forester John back when, is he still the,
John Newton, no, he's
Retired,
retired.
yeah.
yeah, and he'd walk the property with me. I had him walk it a few different times, just looking at the different trees and stuff. And so I was showing him that one, and he told me about there's a, I forget what it's called now because it's been so many years ago, but there's like a big tree.
Old growth.
Well, it's a big tree organization or something, the largest tree. They document the largest trees. So I went out and measured it, thinking I'll get that one confirmed as the largest sycamore in New Hampshire. And they said that's not the case. There's one over, there's, come on, you guys are supposed to know right
Yeah,
where
I
that
don't
sucker
know where
is.
that
I thought
one
you'd
is.
jump right in.
Yeah, no.
Is it
It-
Merrimack?
Yeah. It sets over close to their house, back off the road a little bit on their driveway, and I'm trying to think of it's Natticook or, anyway.
Yeah.
And I argued with them that the crown seemed bigger on this, but they weren't interested. So I'm pretty sure that's the second biggest tree, and Nelson's is third.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, no, everybody was very like, no way, that tree needs to stay, and
Think
certainly.
of any huge trees like that.
It is, but the
Inadequate.
problem is, it's like Nelson's. It's not. You don't see it like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you ever got out, and stopped your car, and just touched it.
I'm going to now.
It's
I'm
It's
going to
not-
see
you can
this
look.
tree.
You can look at it when you drive by. Looks big.
Yeah.
You stop your car and really look close. It looks huge.
enormous.
Get out, take the 3 feet, and go like this, and it's overwhelming. It's just.
If you see me there, you'll know.
Yeah.
I'm not just some weirdo.
Well, it's all photoed. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone takes pictures and everything anyway. But the tree stays.
Yeah, I've stopped next to it when I ride my cycle. I like to ride down
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
So,
I have several pictures of my bike leaning up against it.
Yeah. We've got several framed in our house. One of them I just laid right on the bottom and took it
Oh,
straight
wow,
up into
yeah.
the sun.
Oh, cool.
And it's just all, that was good. And then a lot of them with snow. And but I bet you there's a lot of people have pictures of that tree in town. So, yeah, that one will stay.
so beyond our normal caveats with,
Yeah. This,
it's a pretty straightforward.
Pretty
Yeah,
straightforward.
it's going to be difficult in a few places to put the homes in, but
Nothing engineering can't overcome.
that's right.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And a good bank account.
Well, you think of the design and how you set it into the hill or whatever, and
Yeah.
they'll all be, should be pretty nice, I think. It's a nice area.
Yeah. Well, you get more homes out there, maybe people will slow down a little bit too.
Yeah, if we had some police out there, they'd slow down too.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what happens when you live on the edge.
I know.
Right.
Well,
It's like,
just pray that they never decide to reconstruct the road.
Yeah.
I would, yeah. Well, every time you do one of these, you give 25, 50 feet on each side for just such a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they did that, where Watson did that big turn where Greater Road comes in. It was a big chunk of land, a big swath through there that he took. And then I remember we were doing a little something over, going to improve that road to put a house back on Greater Road.
Yeah.
There was so much talk about how dangerous it is and all the things that can be done. And If the town just cut all those trees down in that corner, you could see
Yeah.
forever. No, you know, there was jokes made about the accidents there and stuff. I mean, it was ridiculous. That's a terrible hill coming down in that spot, but,
Yeah, I can remember as a teenager pulling a friend's car out.
right there, coming the other way, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That was a long time ago.
Now, again, besides our standard, cautions about fertilizer types,
Right.
And obviously here, you're gonna have some snow removal, potentially, so ice melt compounds and stuff like that, that's really gonna go downhill, potentially right into that stream, so those are, fertilizers, ice melt, those are some of our standard, concerns. And again, beyond that, into spring, you get your planting schedules, we'd like to make sure you stay with native plants.
So the autumn olive forest is
Yeah.
out? All right. Yeah. I mean, I totally get it, and I understand that. I mean, these are going to obviously be sold to somebody else.
Right.
I know.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing, so it's obviously not gonna get into the deed, but,
Right.
Right. Just as a builder, just,
We can
please
certainly
be
share
cautious,
that
yeah,
with them. That's
please
a
be
great
cautious
idea.
of,
Yep.
what you're spreading there when you fertilize for the grass and,
Right.
and what you're planning on planting, so.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we realize that it only
Yeah.
goes this far, and that's it. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Worth being said.
Yeah, it's a matter of education. You say it enough times,
You
people will
you
hear it.
potentially will have face-to-face contact with some of these folks and.
I
can-
hope to have face-to-face
Yeah.
contact with all of them. I got my real estate license now so that I can sell my own lots and stuff, so I would be happy to spread that, and I will.
Yeah.
I mean, it only makes sense, it's not a problem.
Brett, would you mind if I asked you about a different parcel or
Sure.
subdivision?
Whatever.
Your big subdivision that was thought to be a cluster subdivision,
Yeah.
which then became more of a conventional lot subdivision.
Yeah.
Is there any potential for the back lot to be available to us in any way? I
Well,
haven't
that
seen-
back lot I didn't buy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you had an option on it at
I
one
did,
point. Yeah.
and the option was contingent to me getting the approval, because, but that's Jenkins,
Yeah? Okay.
and, that plan, we're getting ready to, go back with that plan now. We've done all the engineering, we're going right there, and there will be, it was all about the butters and the water.
Yep.
There, that there was a couple of people that didn't have very good wells. So went through all the engineers and all of that, and then we finally sat down and we came up with a plan that takes my lot, wraps all the way around the back, and then puts a buffer in between all of those houses. So it leaves the existing lot with like 30 acres. And then we just, for the sake of going to the planning board, we took about where it starts to abut the houses down there, and we were going to propose some kind of an easement, that restrictive easement, that,
Yeah, okay.
nothing can be done there. But, the rest of it up there, it could go into some kind of conservation use too, but it's a narrow strip.
Yeah.
It's not too,
Right.
yeah. But yeah, so that one, when everyone said that's too many houses up there, don't do that, then he got it back, and I'm sure that, I can give you his phone number tonight if you wanted to give him a call.
No. Yeah.
The last thing, it was a woman.
Well, it's a woman,
She's a,
is the one on the deed, but,
she's in the Board of Selectmen in Mass somewhere. right?
Yeah. yeah, she was coaching me through the whole planning thing. No, they can't do this, they can't do that. I was like, I'm pretty sure.
States are different, yes.
I'm thinking we just want to work it out without attorneys, So, yeah, it's
Well,
it's in her name, but there's a
Yeah.
couple of
Gage
Jenkins.
can follow up with you if you don't mind.
Sure, I'll
Yeah.
just give you his number.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Because at one time we looked at it before, you had your option, but the price was deemed to be more than we wanted to spend at the time, so.
Well, yeah, that price was more than I wanted to spend too, but if the plan came out the way that it was, it still kind of worked, so.
Yep.
You know, he approached me on that, you know, hey, could you get us in? And the engineers looked and said, wow, you know, there's 4 or 5 more houses, so,
Yep, understood.
yeah,
Right, thank you, appreciate that.
sure, yeah.
No, yeah, I think, I don't have any questions. Anyone else have any more questions?
So the house on the north side of
Yeah,
Wilson House, that's gonna be taken down?
has to, yeah,
And the garage
yeah.
too? Is there anything planned with that? Is that just gonna be the fourth lot?
North side? No.
This is just north of the barn?
Yeah, the house that's tight to the road there on
Yeah.
48-10, the way it shows.
Yep.
That's we're going to be addressing that shortly. But yes, that house will go, and we're going to have another lot over there.
But that's not in this?
No.
That's not in this?
This one's here, but then this bigger one that we were speaking about before now is easier to do with this piece of land. Yeah, because we had some funky lines. Now they're straighter, and there'll be another lot or two over there. But I'll be in front of you on that in a few months. There was no extra interest gauge in that side coming around.
We've spoken about it, not in depth, but obviously easements are nice, but we do try to make them connect. So
Well, Sean's going to own most of that
Yeah.
here soon, so he said I did talk to him about it, and he said he'd be happy to listen.
okay. No, we can discuss that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to get all the way down to Fields Farm or not, but pretty close.
Right across?
Yeah.
As long if you built a bridge, you could go right across. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big bridge. Oh,
Yeah,
built one that big.
It's
That is a big bridge.
a big bridge, right?
Yeah.
We're
It's
talking
not
about
very deep right there, but
access across the river.
I know.
So, yeah. Yeah, see, at one point, the Watson property we were going to have in it, there was an easement on the original plans and all that, but
yeah.
community development many years ago didn't follow through and all that, and it never got recorded, and therefore we don't have that easement, so, with the owner before Watson, so,
Oh, before Watson.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I thought most of that back there was still in conservation anyway.
Well, it's still open space, yeah.
Right,
But
'cause it's
there's
floodplain.
nothing protecting it, though.
Oh, right.
And we were looking to get a walking path easement that would allow us to cross the river right where we have property on the other side, so.
Right, there's a spot there where the deer love to cross it, so it must be real nice and shallow. You can just make a little ford or something, no? Until the spring.
That's it.
Swimming.
Last summer, you could just
Yeah, you could walk
Yeah.
across.
skip the rocks across.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
It got pretty skinny.
yeah. All right.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else to add. Is you all set?
Thank you, sir. That was very helpful. Even with the glasses, this was too small.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I know.
It's something else.
Believe me, I can't do it either.
The big piece out of the barn, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know if you're thinking of like disassembling the barn and reassembling it somewhere else?
Absolutely.
Okay, I
That's
was gonna
exactly
say.
what we want to do. I mean, there's really some neat, the timbers in there are still good.
Yeah,
And, what we kind of wanted to do at first was just take the sheathing off and then use we'd had to shore up the whole foundation and everything. I mean, it was quite a project, probably wouldn't have worked anyway, but the town made it clear that unless we can back off to since there's a subdivision being done, that would have to back to it has to be moved.
yeah.
So at this point, it's just disassemble it as best we can and then save those and maybe use them in another barn house or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Thanks.
Sure.
And we can be in touch on that other property. Would be great.
Which property?
That little one, the Jenkins property there.
Oh, yeah. I've got, I think I left my phone in the car,
Sorry.
but.
Well, you've got my number.
Yeah, I got you. I
So-
think so. I get your number and I'll
If I don't hear
text,
if I don't hear from you in a few days, I'll call you.
I'll text it over to you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
School board meeting's probably hopping now, if you want to go check it out.
It should be, yeah.
Sign in?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I wrote, signed, and
Oh,
put it
okay.
on.
Oh, I'm
Who's all
sorry.
set?
Pardon me. You skipped a line, and I
What?
thought that was the header.
No, plus, not only did I go to the wrong place, but I thought, all the meetings were at 7. So I looked at, I'm saying, like, how long do I have to sit around the house? And then I looked and I was like, oh my God. So I was just on time, but I got to commend you. 6:30 is a great time for a meeting. 7:30,
Not so good.
it's like, everyone must do the same thing. You just go sit, say, plus some people like at 5:30 or 6 like to have a cocktail or something, and then you can't do that. I don't know who they'd be, but some people might want to.
I know a few.
The person that was here before you, very happy, so.
Yeah, oh, I know. I saw him. I was like, and then I was thinking, well, there's a couple of little lines of something they're doing prior to starting. But anyway, this is still good, quick and out. Thanks again.
Well, good. Thank you very much,
Bring a
John.
cocktail.
Easy. I had a former selectman who was a state rep skip out of the State House because he heard that he was going to get locked in. They lock the doors and keep the legislature in session near the end of the session. So the word was getting around that the speaker was going to lock everybody in. So he split, and he showed up at the selectmen's meeting at 7:30 when we start at 7, and his wife was sitting in the audience looking for him.
Oops.
And he had worked his way down from Concord.
Oh, dear.
All right. Okay, we don't have any old business to discuss. New business. Forestry options for the Greater Woods. The commission discussed different options. We talked briefly about that on the parcel coming in, the parcel coming in from Wilson Hill. If we have any, I've not done anything with it.
We took this up in our subcommittee meeting last month.
No, it wasn't that long ago. It was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was
Well,
just
I
a
guess it
couple
was
weeks
last
ago,
month,
but it was
technically.
technically it was
Okay,
last month.
Sorry, you got me there.
That's why I thought a little bit about it. I was like, I guess it was last.
Time is moving fast enough without.
So if you can picture coming from Wilson Hill Road, the new parcels that were purchased for Greater Woods. There's the parcel to the behind the houses that runs behind the houses on Wilson Hill Road. That one parcel there. Then there's the parcel that was, I guess, for lack of a better term, that was the old shooting pit that we closed off. And then there's the two parcels that are in the wet that were added in to
The Conservancy parcels.
conservancy parcels, just very small pieces. Of the four parcels, the old shooting parcel was logged 5 years ago. Am I right? 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, at least 5, I think. Maybe a little more than 5. Yeah.
I can't imagine anyone going in and wanting that lumber. It can only be worth chip, and then no one's going to want to put that through a sawmill full of slugs.
Right.
You know. Oh yeah, it would rip the blades apart.
So that I think that for as far as timber goes, there's nothing desirable there, and the two little conservancy parcels, and what then goes to
Right.
sort of the boundary line where the
Yep.
Skyline Trail is put in, and below that the drop off there. I don't see that being super desirable for a logger, and it now borders a complete clear cut to the south.
Right.
So that I would imagine the only thing with timber value is the old homestead parcel, which is around the beaver pond that we're trying to protect by redoing
Right.
Greater Road. So I guess where the subcommittee ended up is, why are we thinking about logging?
We don't have a timber plan. We don't have a forestry plan for that section. That's an active for it, and that's, typically how we start a forestry plan is pay for it by having the logging done. If it doesn't make sense to do logging, we still have to have a forestry plan, so, maybe we have to kind of suck this one up a little bit. Obviously, there's gonna be some forestry going on because we're gonna be cutting a road in. So, if it's something they can grab, pieces and parts as they go in, and at least offset the cost of the road maybe a little bit, that might be something to pursue, but.
Yeah, so the last plan that was done for the homestead parcel, as you called it, did talk about some forestry work that could be done on that parcel if we wanted to do it, which is why when Dan Sear was still with us, we had him take a look and say, is it possible to bring in logging trucks and stuff like that? And they said it would be expensive to do the road work on South Greater Road to bring in the trucks, so we decided, and the Conservancy properties weren't ours, and it was unlikely that we were going to get permission to use, put a forestry landing on that parcel, that we stopped going forward. But if you look at the forestry plan we have for that, it did talk about there's a potential for some work that could be done. It doesn't say we had to do it. There was nothing compelling, but the thought was to do it. And we've kind of wanted to do forestry work before we did extensive trail work, because people go crazy if you do forestry after you put trails in, like, well, what'd you do to my trail? And this looks like a moonscape, what'd you do to the place, and all that stuff. So we figured.
Like happened when we did the school.
Yeah, right.
We remember
Yeah.
on this parcel.
So, so the other thing in the back of our head when we started talking about, when I kind of broached the idea a few months ago about doing forestry, was it could help offset the cost of fixing the road that we need to fix, putting it the high side. But if there isn't much timber value, then is it really worth even doing what, to generate that revenue, I guess. So my only thought is it'd be good to make sure we do a forestry plan on the new parcels at some point, because we should do that. But with the potential of Chestnut Hill coming our way later this year, we probably should wait till we have that chunk done. We have all those pieces and do it all at once.
Contiguous.
Yeah. So.
Because they're relative, for forestry operation, those are relatively small parcels. And it's gonna be the mobilization fee to get there and started, come back, get there and started, and come back. It's gonna be, if we have a little bit more of a bounty, I think it's gonna be a little bit better for us.
So the homestead parcel goes around the pond, over to the power lines, and around to the view?
It starts at the view.
Yeah.
So if you're starting at the view, that rock wall, that's the back of the homestead parcel. And you can follow the boundary line. The boundary line kind of does, on the north side, the boundary line kind of does this jog and goes back towards that house that's at the end of Greater Road from the Amherst side, and then goes down to the beaver pond.
Yeah.
And the other side kind of runs that stone wall.
Yeah. And I remember when we locked the new parcels, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the timber was terrible on 3 of the 4 lots, and the only one that had any, it was the fall, any
Right.
beautiful hardwood trees and stuff was the one behind the houses.
Right.
Yeah, and typically, in the past, the commission's kind of stayed at least a few hundred feet away from rear property lines around, behind houses. So that way they maintain some sort of buffer, you might say,
Yeah.
so.
And I think if you'd stay the, couple 100 feet away, you're in wet.
Right.
Yeah.
You are, because, yeah. Yeah, so it probably doesn't make sense, especially given that the donut has just been completely logged out. If we had had an option to own that parcel, then it would have made
Would
good
have made
sense.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
Right. So, but they just took all the value out of that property, which kind of makes it easier for us to get our hands on it if we can, because there's no value to it anymore. So.
I don't know if anyone had a chance to go up there and look. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
lot marks, mistakes.
there's a couple stakes that show, edge of cut. That's,
Some lot-
but there's really, the pictures of it, I took a couple pictures, but it's just,
They take the stumps down, out too?
No.
no.
The first time I saw it, all the trees were still there. All laid
Mm.
down. And I was like, it looks much better with the trees around.
Yes, it does.
That's come, well, not a very good picture because it's kind of dark, but that's coming up from the school.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing there.
yeah.
It's,
Is that
Down that far, I was-
is that the walk you sent
yes.
GPS? Okay.
Yeah, so I turned, with my back to the cut, I mean, I'm looking up over the hill, it's just
Hmm.
empty.
Yeah, I was surprised that the donut hole went down as far as the school.
So that, no, so I mean, I walked the edge of that cut. No, what I sent you was that I walked the edge of the cut.
Landmark navigation there?
Yeah. I wasn't necessarily in the donut. I was saying this is the edge of the cut. I walked along the edge of the
Okay.
cut, so it gives us a reference on the map. I didn't have a chance to go look at the actual boundary marker to see where that walk is. That's the road. I think that was the road that you said you walked up. But it's not really cut.
No?
I mean but you go look at it. There was no stumps, no nothing.
There was just no trees there.
Yeah, but that's what it was when we walked up there the first time, back a year or so ago when we walked up there with Meridian. We walked in and walked up that trail, and they'd obviously been driving trucks up and down it to get in there. So I don't think that's a new cut. It may have been. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I want to make sure we were walking. That was kind of why I sent it to you, because I want to make sure I was looking at what you looked at. So, I don't know if that's a new. I'm not. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I want to make sure we're looking at the same spot.
You saying you came, when you skied and stuff, you came around the big loop and you came down the hill to the cut, and then you took a right and went down to
Old Blood Road.
Yeah, towards Old Blood Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was all new cut.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Obviously the road. I don't think that there's like a little one truck wide road going down to Blood Road.
That's a big truck.
Okay, well, maybe it was the same spot, but because we walked in a spot, we walked up there a year ago when we first walked in that one winter. We walked out there with Maverick and all that
Yeah.
other group.
Yep.
We walked up what was obviously going to be a road. I mean, the trees.
With the stakes.
Yeah, and the trees. Some of the trees were pushed back, but there's no stumps in that whole section. I can't believe they stumped it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's been done or not. I don't know if that's new or if it's old.
It's been clearing done, yes.
Oh yeah, it's definitely been clearing done up there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I couldn't believe, because it says they got those markers as edge of cut. It's all marked right off. So
Mhm.
did you find out any more?
No, I did not. What I found out is I looked at the permit. So what we're talking about now is the Chestnut Hill development. So if you look at the permit says that it's supposed to transfer the property, the conservation parcels over, transfer those parcels, as well as put up the property line markers and designate the vernal pools and all that before they actually start on the project that the permit is for. So the question is what is the permit for? Well, if you look to the letter of the law, the permit's all about doing the culvert work and redoing Old Blood Road. And they actually started the redo of the road, Old Blood Road, that would take them all the way out to school on one side and the current pavement on the other. So that, I didn't walk that.
They haven't, towards the school, they haven't done anything.
Right, so
It's-
if that.
It's a pond, all the way out.
So if that part of the project has been started, then they've started the project, which means they need to meet the needs of
Right.
the permit. I don't think they've actually started the project.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, but on the flip side, it does say that they're moving forward, which means that those two parcels, about 100 acres, are going to be ours.
Yep.
Okay? So that's going to happen now. So, yeah. So I had thought originally that the permit meant, did you do anything on the whole development? And if you look at it, the letter of the permit is all about the culvert work and the drainage work that they needed to do the Old Blood Road extension. And I don't think they're doing that yet. So
Okay.
they're close,
Yeah.
but so
Well, there's a ton of water coming down there.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Which is why they have those big culverts put in the new roadway
Yeah.
in order to manage where that water
I'm
goes.
just thinking about the people on Mary meeting right there.
Yeah.
You know, that hydraulic, what changes up on that hill? Because I was out there, right, when we had all the melt going on. It was just, 70-degree day.
Mm-hmm.
Just, sheet flow is just everywhere. Just underneath, you pick up the leaves, you see water just draining down. It was everywhere. So.
Yeah, which actually once all that culvert work is done, that actually should be better for the people behind
Yeah.
me. They're supposed to channel and move the water around, so,
I hope so.
yeah,
See.
yeah. So it's coming our way soon.
All right.
All right, so to end this, I guess we're not gonna do any forestry operations, or for right now. I don't think there's a whole lot we can do till we own more of the parcel.
Right.
So,
Even then, it might
it might not even be worth it.
be worth it there.
But-
So.
But I do strongly suggest that once we have, where we think we're gonna be, is we have our forester go out and do a forestry plan on it, so we know what the stands are, we know if we have any rare, rare items out there and all that too.
Other species.
Right, I mean, until we had someone looking at it, we didn't know we had a red maple swamp, did we? So,
Red maple and saxifrage.
yeah. So,
One other thing that came out of the Greater Woods Subcommittee meeting was one of the members of the subcommittee who hasn't been to a meeting for, I don't know, almost a year, was wondering what was going on with the new marking along what was to be D3.
oh, okay.
It was to be one of the motorized bike trails.
Yep.
And I don't believe that they have any desire to move forward on that trail or any other, because they haven't been to a meeting or contributed.
They're just gonna ride them anyways.
Yeah. So the subcommittee's consensus was to start decommissioning the trails that are being ridden without any active participation or improvement
Mhm.
or contribution in any way. So I guess what I'm looking for is some guidance on how to do that from the commission.
So, my input, if the trail that you're thinking about decommissioning is in the original stewardship plan, we'll have to go through a more formal process where we announce that we're gonna do that, okay? If it's some of the trails that people have been poking around with, putting some stakes out there, thinking about what they wanna do, and kind of they're not on not in the stewardship plan trail, or a trail that we've formally approved since then we should shut them down, because then they're not approved trails at this point. That's my opinion. So only the approved ones are.
I don't think I have any other choice.
Right. Yeah, because if we don't enforce bad, if we don't try to stop bad behavior, that means we're encouraging bad behavior.
You're not asking how physically to do it.
No.
Yeah.
No. You just want to know if you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not an approved trail, it shouldn't be used until someone approaches us and say, hey, I want to do an approved trail here, and then we would go through our process. They would put out some markers, we would go look at it, we would review it, and just like what we're doing on Horse Hill and what we did for the other trails that have been approved. So,
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because, like you said, there was at one time a formal
Yep.
request, and we were, there was active back and forth. But now that the members aren't coming to the meetings,
Yep.
there really is no more of that back and forth, and I believe the desire isn't there. But I've been out there every day for the past, week, and activity's now picking back up, and it's not the time for
right.
that activity because it's mud season. Even though it was a light winter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's mud season, and we don't have the inner gates closed right now because that trail was never constructed. And we discussed at the subcommittee level
And here.
closing the inner gates,
Yeah.
but the fear is when we close the inner gates, what's going to happen? Because D3 wasn't built, where are they going to go?
Do we close them?
It's the water is over the road, over what used to be the
Yep.
road, completely over,
Yep.
because the berm that was on the west side of the road, you've got the hill that comes down
Yep.
on the east side, and there was a berm at one time on the west side, so that kind
The
of
bathtub and then
kept the
berm.
water out.
Right.
Yeah.
But now that
It's-
berm no longer exists. The west side berm no longer exists. So it's just pond to the slope on the east side.
Yeah.
There is no more road.
Right.
It's water.
It's a good thing that bypass trail's there.
But the bypass trail comes down on the inside of the
Inside.
gates. And it's so washed out that you have to be a talented motorbike operator to make that turn. So D3 needs to exist for the motorized users to have a viable option around that,
Yeah, and-
but it doesn't exist.
Yeah, and when we finally get the road rebuilt, then they'll have something to ride on.
Yep.
But it's not there yet.
Well, particularly for mud season, do we close those gates now?
Yeah, I don't see,
I don't think we have much of an option. I mean,
I'd say so.
I'm telling kids not to ride their bicycles out there because they're still using the classroom as an ATV park or skate park, whatever they're doing with it.
Yeah, we should get rid of those benches too.
Those need to go.
I'm sure more than one kid's jumped on an end and had it.
Oh yeah, they're getting pretty beat up. So yeah, I think we should close them.
Yep.
By consensus, we're just going to say yes. Go ahead. You've got the lock boxes.
I've
and
got the
in.
locks
You've got
and lock
everything?
boxes, but I haven't put the lock boxes on them, so it's going to be a little bit of work to
Yeah.
get them out there, put the boxes up, put the keys in. And... All right, I will
I don't think.
put it on the calendar.
We'll give you 48 hours.
No rush. No rush. Tomorrow 5's fine.
Yeah.
You gonna try to do it Saturday?
I'll do it before then.
No, I don't have a
He's
lot.
chafing at the bit to do it.
I know,
don't
see?
tell.
I was gonna say, I was being generous.
Like, my headlights lights will illuminate that.
Yeah.
I don't have any time before, oh, crap, I'm gonna have to change that. I'm not gonna have any time before Saturday. I think I'm help you, but I don't,
No,
Wow.
I'll get it done after work.
such a brass. Wait. Spoiled little kid.
I think we'll probably have to make it not look like there's a go around either.
Yeah. Now, though, I guess some of them probably don't even know it's there. Some of them. So, yeah, we'll see.
I mean, the external gates have done a lot to
Yes.
Yeah.
to
Dissuade.
dissuade bad behavior. Even the bathtub below the big bridge at the bottom of Gateway Hill
Yeah.
hasn't been anybody in there.
Yeah.
So, but we did remove the planks that were bothering some of the motorized users. The snowmobile
Yeah, I know.
traction
Yeah.
plates. Some of the motorized users complained that
They're riding up and down Gateway Hill and they're complaining about the
yeah,
bump. Yeah. Okay, whatever.
they didn't like those.
Whatever.
Things have changed.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we sufficiently beat that to pulp. Okay, good. Project coordinators. So commission discussed specific duties commissioners have when leading a project. We talked very briefly about this. I guess it was at the last meeting. Simple things like that, signing the invoices. It is going to be a change to our bylaws, but I don't have any issue with if someone's the project coordinator for some of these projects. Obviously, when we're land deals and things like that, it's a little different issue. But signing a PO for signs, having the plastic cut, the service agreements for the website. There's no reason to have those people waiting for the invoice to get back to the town, the commissioner to come down and have a chance to hit there by 4:30 to sign it, and it just seems like there's a lot of extra waste in there in that time cycle. So things like that. I mean that's just a single example. But if there's certain duties that as a project, we kind of seem to assign projects to each other and off we go. If there's certain duties that you guys feel we should, as a project leader, you want to take on, and that's something that should happen to within that person, have them the full responsibility for it. I think we should do it. I think it would make some sense and save some time. I mean, obviously, we have to start building up now what a project, how it goes, what it has to happen. There's going to have to be some official. We need maybe a little bit more of an official, a PIF, a project initiation form type thing that says, okay, here's what it is, here's what's going to happen, here's the estimated dollars. We have some of that paperwork already, but just probably follow through with that a little bit and having it be a little more official and write it into our bylaws.
Well, I think it's a fine idea, and when we kick off a project and we nominate someone to oversee it, then we should be clear in our minutes, in our vote, our motion, that we authorize that person to sign for the commission when it comes to this project. And if we use not to exceeds, then we should be fine. So the only thing you want to probably do then is have a discussion with Tim Thompson, because what's going to happen is there'll be different people signing those finance forms, and he's used to only seeing the chair do that.
Yep.
So you may want to just see if he has any input, because he might not be aware of who the right person is for Project X.
Right.
Right. So.
What's the saying? If it might. We've always kind of just said, oh, well, Matt's going to take care of this and do the signs, and you're just taking care of the web. Maybe it's about time we have a little PIF type of thing. It says, okay, here's the project, here's the scope, here's the basic,
Yeah.
and then there's some commonality to all the projects going forward. You see something, you get a chance to see what it is and understand how it's written.
Yeah. And Amy could keep that form, and then she could say, hey, Tim, this person's authorized for this
Right.
project. Yeah, that would work. Okay.
I mean, at minimum, when you come in with something, you come in with the approved minutes. You know, Cindy's the project lead in this, not to exceed this, blah blah blah.
Right.
And you say, here you go, I'm going to sign.
Right.
At very minimum, but we
Maybe,
could
and
even
that,
go-
maybe there's the kickoff that gets signed by the chair.
Yeah.
And then everyone knows it's legit, and off it goes. So I think it's something we can make work. We'd have to kind of come up with some theoretical limits as to what the expenditures are going to be. I'm sure there's going to be I'm sure Tim would have some input to what we could, dole out to people, but.
Well, I mean, in reality, we're all appointed the same.
Right, exactly.
I mean, you're the meeting facilitator and the facilitator of the commission, but beyond that,
Right.
you have no special powers.
Exactly.
So as long as we have a project paper or form that says this is what the project's all about,
Right.
and the commission voted on it in a public meeting, that's all the authorization that's required.
Yeah. It's because the chair position, I mean, it could be you next week, But I'm saying is it just doesn't matter. It's a figurehead type thing. Just so like Tim said, there's no special powers here and all.
Well, the other thing that gives you is it keeps the internal financial control stuff in place when you're dealing with that, because you've got the vote to authorize. So if anybody questions anything,
Yeah.
they can go back to that and say, here's where we authorize this.
Right.
Because I ran into that with the selectmen when I worked in Pelham, where, I made sure that no, you gotta vote on this, you gotta vote on this. Well, why do I have to vote on this? Because when the auditors come in, they're gonna wanna see where you authorize this expenditure or this transfer of funds or whatever, and there's gotta be a formal vote taken, and it's gotta be in the minutes. And if it isn't in the minutes, they're gonna ding you on it. And if it isn't in the minutes, DRA may not approve it.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually have that in our current form, but the current form says only the chair can sign
Yeah.
off on it. So really the change here is to allow other people, the project lead, to have the ability to sign the finance forms as well. So, because we do, the minutes are always attached to the current form that we have. So,
Good.
yeah, we have that backup, always. Amy generates the minutes. We just tell her what meeting it was, and she finds them and staples it all together, and that becomes the form. So. So are you going to draft something you think is appropriate, Gage?
Yeah, I can, yeah, sure. I'll send it to you.
Whatever, and send it to the commission.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's a good idea that you start delegating some of these things out so that you're not
Yeah.
overwhelmed with work. I should have learned that lesson, but I didn't. So I applaud you in trying to do that, so.
No, it's just gonna help to figure it out, I guess. All right, and obviously along with that same lines, if there's other things that people think of that as a project lead, if things that you want to have on the PIF, things that you think are important, and we can put together on a form and make sure it's kind of come up with a generic form that potentially will cover all the bases. Just let me know, and we'll get forward on that. So.
A question to kind of go along with that. I don't want to lengthen this, but just a quick question. So we had a installing the signs for Gateway.
Yep.
And we had an issue with DigSafe, and the person that was the school, I'd go out there and look. They didn't know where to put them. They haven't been buried yet. We took a vote back then.
Right.
Set aside some funds to put those in, but we never did it. Does that carry over calendar year to calendar year? If we find those minutes and figure out, what the budget was to sync those signs, can we still sync them on that, or do we need to start over again? Now it's a new fiscal year or calendar year.
It's the same group.
Okay.
To me, I mean, I think probably it might be worthwhile to just bring it up again and say, hey, yeah, we agreed to this. We're going to now actually go ahead and do the project, but I don't think that we need to have a formal vote on it again, unless anyone's got that heartbreak with what's going on.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so, yeah, and legitimately, any member, if you bring it up at a meeting, can say, hey, I move that we reconsider our vote if someone does have heartburn over it, and then we'll have the discussion again.
Yeah.
Right? If not, we just continue with the authorization you have.
Okay.
Okay? I think it'd be wise as a commission, if we thought that there was something that we only wanted to authorize for so long a period, then we can add that into the motion when we make it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So.
Okay. We good with that? All right, so other business. The NRPC maps. Do you have any, how'd that go? I know you were trying to get some big ones for the,
We did, and I forgot them. I still have them all set up, but I forgot to bring them tonight.
oh, well, but they were at the.
They were at the carnival.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's where you forgot them. I was like, oh, that's too bad.
no, you know, at
No,
the carnival now.
I have them. I was gonna bring them tonight, but I got here and realized I didn't have them. But you know,
They look great.
Gina, Sydney, and I were at the carnival and displayed the maps, and people were like, "Can I have them?" And we're like, "Yeah, we don't have them available yet." You know, it was like, "What? You can't show us these and not have them?" So we had people taking pictures of them and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be on the website soon.
Yeah.
So,
And that's what we said. So there were only a couple of things. While I was there, while he was printing them, he made an adjustment to shrink the lines for the font of the line.
oh, okay, good.
And I thought it looked much better. I mean, a huge change to the maps, shrinking them, except for the loop trail on Horse Hill. That one, because it's the color choice is white, because it's marked, blazed white everywhere, it looked good, thicker, and since it's kind of that continuous trail that goes all the way around, I felt, and a lot of, I was kind of trying to get people's opinion. What do you think of this? And people were like, yeah, that one looks good white, but I think the ones that turn more should be thinner. And he also had the ability to not only shrink the trail, but then bring the green that was around it
yeah,
in.
tighter. Like, I'll get rid of the shadow a little bit.
Because what he had done is, kind of made the lines
Yeah.
and shrunk the line, but the
green didn't fill.
the green didn't backfill that.
Yeah.
He found a way to do that, and it just looks
Looks
100
better.
times better.
Oh,
Good.
cool.
So yeah, it looks good. So I guess I left it with, I'm gonna go back to the commission, and if everybody feels that all the lines except loop should be shrunk, I'll let you know. And that's sort of my preference.
Well, Loop's the physically biggest trail, like width-wise and everything on the property. I
Exactly.
mean, is that something maybe as a standard that we do that? Like the Gateway Trail, is that one, say, a little wider than the rest?
Exactly. The Gateway and Red Maple, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, things,
When we
trails
go.
like that, even,
Even at Wildcat Falls,
yeah,
we
even
have-
while you got the main trail that goes right down to the river, the Fire Road, and maybe that one stays a little wider.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Definitely makes sense,
Yeah.
because just by looking at it, you say, oh, that must be the,
the big trail, yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And then, we go with, when we give these maps to the fire department, we can tell them,
Okay, this is where cars
Yeah.
can go.
this is where your woods truck can go.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, forget about it.
Yeah, okay.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay, great. I will, next time I speak with Ryan, I will have him address that.
So-
We've got links to those. Is the link still active to that new configuration now?
I don't know that.
Yeah. Maybe we could have them, if you can send them a link, everyone get it. I mean, I think it's gonna be fine, I just,
It looked so much better
okay.
when we had the map there, and at that time he had only done three or four trails shrunk,
You
but
could really see,
you could see the
see before and
contrast,
after.
and people were like, that's much better.
okay. Good.
So I think we
All right. Well, that worked out well, having them available then. Good.
Got a lot of input, good.
I'm sorry, Tim, I cut you off there. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, there is one thick trail in Wasserman as well, the one that runs along the lake out to the dam. or
Fitness
across-
trail?
Yeah. Behind, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, maybe I might be misspoken, so let me say, the one that goes along the lake, that goes near one of the halls that they've actually driven on to maintain the dam, that one's pretty wide all the way to the dam or close to the dam.
It's narrowing in
Yeah, okay, yeah. You're
significantly.
You're
now.
right, but there's okay, I'll leave it.
I wouldn't.
Good.
I wouldn't think that a like a fire truck would
Make it all. yeah.
stand a chance.
Mhm, okay. All right, sorry.
So,
So, we probably should give them the final go-ahead on some of these maps, just so that they're done, so they can move on to the other properties. So I think in my opinion, if you think we've reached a good point with Horse Hill, with some minor tweaks, I would say just go do it and don't wait for us to ask, to bring in more comments. Because we can do another round in December, because I'm sure things are gonna change, or the subcommittee's gonna wanna do something, so. We know we're gonna be revving these maps once a year, no matter what. So we ought to draw the line at some point.
And the
do they have a date or something on them? A rev date on them? Do you know? Do you remember?
on the physical map.
Yeah, down the corner somewhere, a little Rev 1, Rev 2, the date, some just a little marker so we know.
December 2016.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so that, we should probably keep that as kind of the rev date then, when we say, yeah, go.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
good.
We did some little updates to the wording too here on the trail descriptions. And we have trail descriptions for Wasserman and Greater Woods.
Good.
How about Wildcat?
So the subcommittee for Wildcat Falls, we met at our last week, and we agreed to work on descriptions for the properties, but our descriptions won't be ready till April, till we meet in April. All right? So yeah, we'll work on them.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
I do think we should put a copyright on our brochures. Just the little copyright symbol and all that, is that in there?
No, it could go right here.
It's just something to help protect.
Okay. I
Not
gotta write
that,
that down.
not that we're gonna probably legally enforce it, but if it comes down to it, people should know that there's a copyright, so that at least someone who wants to be law-abiding will come to us and say, hey, we'd like to use a portion of this map or that, can we do that? Just so we know who's got it.
Well, if you, if it wouldn't clutter things up, you could also put certain language on there about reproduction.
Yeah, well, we want people to print them and use them, so.
Are the graphics on the website copyright protected? Do you know? Like she's got like little animals and things like that on the website. Or should I wait till we talk about the website to bring that up?
I will tell you that on the map, it says Merrimack Outdoors logo courtesy of Weatherby Creative.
Right, that's what I'm wondering.
So they took notice of Weatherby's.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm thinking is further on down the line, if when I do this Friends of the Commission, if I wanted to do like little rut sacks or something like that, if I can use any of these graphics, so I'll have to figure that out.
Do you want me to investigate the intellectual property issues for you?
Sure. You got spare time?
Oh, no.
So the website,
Lawyer?
Yeah.
the website is copyrighted, okay?
Yeah.
All right, it's at the bottom. I thought so, I just wanted to confirm it. So it's copyrighted to us.
Oh, to us,
Yep.
but not to Weatherby.
It's our website. The
Yeah.
site design is credited to Weatherby Creative.
All right, so the graphics would be copyrighted to Weatherby?
Well, so the graphics are, I suspect came out of a package that they put together or
Oh.
have access to, so.
Okay.
But we can always ask Wendy. If there's something you want to do, we can talk to Wendy,
Okay.
all right?
Yeah, Tom, I would actually, I think it'd be worthwhile. When we're trying to get more of a social media presence, and this is going to become more of an issue.
Oh, yeah.
Probably as a way to start, we should have
Yeah.
a good starting point. So, if you could, that
Yeah,
would be
because
helpful.
you get into that,
Yeah.
about this much that I know about that, you know,
Yeah.
you're not just dealing with, what went from here to here. You know, you're dealing with content, you're dealing with graphics, you're dealing with a whole bunch of other pieces, and what of that is, and how, if we want to protect it, how do we do that? Okay, so that people aren't ripping us off.
Right. Okay.
Because I can see you going over and walking the Great Wall of China, and all of a sudden you open a map and, hey, wait a minute. But just in general, I'll just see what they can do. And maybe I can convince the town manager to let us use some of their time to come over here and brief you guys on those kinds of issues. Because I'm sure that some of our other groups would find the information valuable or give them a better sense of some of the things that are going on.
Certainly, Matt Kasparius would probably be interested in some of this, because he generates a lot of material
Yeah.
in his department, so.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
So before you leave the subject of the maps, will you let them know that we're working on descriptions for Wildcat Falls, or do you want me to do that?
I'll let them know, because they're expecting my final descriptions for Wasserman, and an idea of how much language we have for Greater Woods. I think they can shrink the font, because they're kind of working off this, having 1.5 panels for the description, and then everything else here. We will likely want to talk about hours here at Wasserman, because it's kind of tricky. He did
Parking
a
is limited.
yeah, and he did a really good job. He changed this so it doesn't look like this anymore in this area. It actually looks like, you know, the parking lots are depicted, the roads in are depicted. It looks great. It looks, you know, much better than what's here. And with the line font thinned out, it just changed this map completely. It looks completely different. He has this in a different color and says managed by others.
Okay.
It looks great that way. He tried to orient it differently. I think this is the best way to do it. You know, if you go like this, it actually, you know, kind of connects. All you have to really do is fold this in, and you can kind of have both maps together and see that they do connect.
Yeah.
Except the scale is, you know,
Different, right.
almost, you know, it's more than twice its scale. So we played around with it, but I think it's going to take a little bit of work with this one as far as for Wasserman, as far as what's open at what time, because hours are less clear here. Hours here are, you know, 24/7. Hours here, it's some trails are 24/7. Parking lots are closed at dusk, or closed at dusk.
Yeah.
And not reopened until dawn.
On.
So maybe we just put that wording on the front.
Yeah, I think you want to make it clear, so we don't have tickets being handed out to people who are trying to do their best to obey the rules.
I mean, it's right. It's along the property line.
Which is this rock wall.
Right.
So I talked with Ryan about, do we make this rock wall very clear?
I think we could almost just take a dotted line and right across the map. So it's a pretty evident distinction. and put hours on either, and put hours on either side of it. You know, Parks and Rec hours, blah, blah, trail hours, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Or another option, and I talked with Matt when we were at the Winter Carnival, and he was very open to putting a kiosk here. He said, if you guys want to build a kiosk, that would be great.
Yeah.
And I said, so what am I going to need to do? And he said, it would probably be best if you came to a Parks and Rec meeting once you get the kiosk look approved and just show us what you want to do. And he's like, I'm sure everybody would be willing. He said, but, you know, my feeling is, yes, go move forward with it and just come and see us when you've got your ducks in a row. So I think once we have a map, maybe next meeting I'll come to you with one of the sheets for the cost of a kiosk. And if we have that approved next meeting, I'll go to the next Parks and Rec meeting, say, here's the map, here's what the map looks like. Do you want a kiosk right there? And then in that kiosk, we can be very clear with, behind you, the parking lot closes
Yep.
when the sun sets.
Yeah, reference the town code so that way they can see it.
Right.
Yeah.
However, the trails in front of you,
Feel free.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, and we could even leave a phone number to the Parks and Rec office or Community Development office to help further explain that if we let them both know, or the admins for both.
because I think all the facilities, you know, the tennis courts and all of that, even though they have lights on, I've seen people playing there at night, close at close at sunset. Yeah, so I'll be back next month with a form for a kiosk.
Okay.
We'll figure out, should we just go with the standard one sheet, smaller?
Yeah, I don't think we need to have a big informational one there.
No, well, there is a small one there now, isn't there? There's, well, no, the town has a kiosk, right?
No, the
The Scout put it.
quarry trail has the
Okay.
kind of a kiosk thing.
Right.
Like at Amherst Road parking lot,
Right.
just as you're going through by the gate,
Yeah.
there's the thing that says Loop Trail. It's not a kiosk.
You're right.
However, it has a roof and it's a big sign that says Loop Trail. It's the same thing that we have for School Loop
Yep.
and Gateway. It's the same thing that we're trying to get installed
Yep.
over by the middle school.
Yeah.
Same exact things. Except Greater Road, the Gateway Trail is twice the size of the ones that we've seen. So it's that, but it's no place to have a kiosk with a map.
Right.
It just really denotes that that's the beginning of Quarry Trail, which has done a good job, I think, of letting people know there's a trail there, because that parking lot's so big and it sits
Right.
at one end.
Right.
But I think having that and a kiosk will be very beneficial.
Yeah, probably a single
Okay.
panel kiosk. You know the size of the map you generated. We want to make sure we have enough room to put other information on there, but we don't need a lot more information.
Well, the map that he generated for the carnival
Yeah.
would not fit in a single panel.
No?
No.
Was that big?
Yeah, the maps are
Enormous. Good.
enormous.
Like
Yeah,
a
they're
size that thing.
yeah.
Good.
In fact, it wouldn't. I don't even think it would fit in the Horse Hill one.
Oh.
It's a big
Wow.
map that he generated.
We had to put two pieces, you got two pieces of the foam core board.
Yeah,
You put two
To-
of
to
those
mount 'em
together,
on.
yeah.
because
it
they
big.
were huge.
Wow. And they still look good, huh?
They do, and they
Good.
once the adjustments are made, they'll look even better.
Yeah.
Be great if we could have those, it seems silly to have them roll them up.
I still have them on foam board.
I was saying, I'd love to be able to,
They're not accurate though.
Right, they're not final.
They're not final,
Not final, yeah.
and they aren't even on any special paper. They weren't on gloss paper, nothing. They were just
It's all right. It still would be nice to be able to put them up somewhere, Hang them on the wall somewhere.
they're in my basement. You can have them if you want.
I still got plenty of roll-up maps, believe me.
We can use it next time we go out in Horse Hill. Oh, okay.
Be like a Benny Hill movie.
All right,
All
so
right.
I'll pass on the Wildcat Falls is going ahead, April timeframe.
Yeah.
Now their contract says that they're supposed to be done by April.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a date on that.
So that was their proposed project schedule. So my comment to them was, if you reach the point where you've expended all the funds that you planned on expending and there's still more work to be done, then let us know and the commission will work with that.
Yep.
But, yeah, oh well, so one of the properties comes a little later than the others. I don't have an issue, I'd rather it was done.
No,
right.
I'd rather put up one map and say, Wasserman's coming up soon, and Greater Woods, whatever. Just keep putting them up there. I mean, God forbid our website changes on a regular basis. That's it. But I'd rather have that. I'd rather have it, be changing.
And I will say I brought these maps to the roast meeting Friday night, and it was a well-attended meeting because they're quarterly now.
Yep.
It was very well attended, and everybody was like, "You guys are light years ahead of what we're doing." So that was kind of nice a nice compliment.
Cool. All right, we done with maps? Duck boxes. I've not gotten out into the space out behind me yet to put up my two, so that's my update.
Mike, you want to take this one?
So Matt and I went out a week and a half ago.
Is your mic on?
Saturday.
You didn't see Tim. No, I didn't
Sorry.
intercede. Sorry.
Matt and I went out about a week and a half ago, and probably the last possible day where the ice was safe. But we did all the duck boxes at Greater Woods and Horse Hill, and I'd say most of them had eggs.
Oh, really?
Some had unhatched eggs. One duck box had dead baby.
I didn't tell Cindy.
I was gonna say, he whispered that to me at Wasserman. Like, don't tell Cindy.
Yeah.
Tell Cindy.
No, one was like half out of the egg and shell, and a couple were empty, and a couple had foreign nests. Like another bird came in and built a nest in it. But it was a good percentage that had eggs.
Had hatched eggs,
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have never opened a wood duck box with 7 unhatched eggs that have been there since probably late May and smelled that smell,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely.
oh, that's etched into my brain forever. Oh. Horrible. And it was a warm day. It was,
Yeah, it was a nice
50.
day, beautiful day. And did you put one new box up?
one new box. We had a couple that had fallen that we had to stand back up. Little repair, but nothing major.
They're in good shape.
Some of those boxes, we wrote the year that we put them up on it, and there was one box from 2001
Really?
still up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Different-
Horse Hill.
Different design.
Yeah,
And
because the ones that are on the pond, the big pond at Beatty are going to be a little different. Those are the first ones we put up. Well, there used to be a different design.
those are all new now.
Those
Those
are
are
all
all the
those,
new boxes, because those, I think the old boxes had fallen in.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because those are old.
Yeah, the majority are new boxes now, but the ones that are old are vintage.
Yeah.
Who would have put? You guys weren't doing it then. Who would have put it up?
Eber.
Oh, okay.
Eber, and then Andy, and Andy and I did a lot of them.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Walt, I forget Walt's last name, used to go out with Eber and do things like that too.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
So the only ones we didn't get to were White Pine Swamp and the one still standing in Greens Pond.
Well, White Pine Swamp, you can ask Harry, Harry will go do that in a heartbeat.
And I think you can get them in a canoe.
Yeah.
So we'll borrow Cindy's canoe and
You'll find a way to do it.
It's amazing to think that there was so much snow when we did that on our snowshoes, and there's no snow now,
yeah.
and so such little time.
Well, this weekend, I mean, you think we got some really cold days. This weekend, I was out in Watkins Forest. I mean, I was on the ice. That was, dangerous, but I was like, wow, I'm, hitting it, and I was like, wow, it is ice. So the kids already in the backyard skating rinks again. I was like, wow, all right, I guess we got some cold weather.
They'll end tomorrow.
Till tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Right.
till tomorrow. I mean, that's the thing. You get that warm weather, all the snow goes away, and then you get that cold weather. The water is completely exposed, and there's no insulation on it anymore. So it really freezes up pretty quick. I mean, it was surprising. So, all right, well, good. Where'd you get the shavings and stuff? Where were you getting that from?
I still had shavings from
Okay.
the boxes because each box came with probably 2 years worth of shavings stuffed in.
Oh.
That we purchased,
Nice.
and I still have one box left. We brought one out to put up in Greater Woods, so we put up another one in Greater Woods on a lot of people are going to see that box.
Yes, that's for sure.
It's where the stone fort is on Gateway
Mm-hmm.
before you go up the hill.
Yep.
Towards View. It's right on the pond to the left,
Oh, yeah.
right in the middle of that pond. So the pond right below that on the other side of the fort
Yep.
had the most hatched eggs. That probably had 6 hatched eggs
Huh?
in it. And the one below that had 4 hatched and I think 1 unhatched.
Yeah, I think we kind of determined that the wood ducks do not like it if it's mounted on the south side, on the sun side. They like it more on the north side. It seem like the only empty ones are on the south side of the dead trees.
Mm.
That was interesting.
So north facing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seemed like, I don't know if it gets a little bit more shade during the day when they're in there.
Yeah, instead of being beaten on by the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, this seemed that way. We both kind of made that deduction.
Mm.
Do wood ducks raise more than one? We call them broods, flocks, whatever. Do they lay eggs more than once a year?
No.
Just once?
Yeah.
It's like some other birds, they'll have 2 or 3.
Yeah, not the migratory.
What's the right word? Bunch of ducks. A brood?
A gaggle,
Like chickens?
geese.
Oh, I think a brood. I think you're right.
Flock.
Brood.
Like for chickens, isn't it a brood? Someone at home is watching saying, I know.
Nobody's watching.
Jeopardy.
Yeah, nobody's watching. Yeah. Call this number.
What is brood?
Yeah.
Probably say Google it. Just Google it.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Pull up a screen.
All right. Invasives, we said we're going to hold off until the weather was appropriate. And the Greater Road bypass, Dawn was in here at the last meeting, and she gave us the update for, and again, until she gets some weather, they can go back out there and start doing the actual work. And finish, just get some design to finish up, but that's gonna be, ongoing. The website, I don't think we had I don't think you had any more on the website.
I do actually.
Okay.
So we're moving forward with the contract for them to do the quarterly updates. For the first quarter, which is technically the second calendar year quarter. So the first one that they're going to work on, that quarter will be the quarter that starts April 1st. I thought there was a couple of things we were going to do, and one is to update photos. So I know I've been behind on sending in photos. Gage, have you sent in any photos?
I have not. I'm trying to get them all to a
Mhm.
place I can give her a link to.
Okay. Because we'd like, so what we
I've been
agreed.
getting some photos from outdoors. You've
Yeah.
seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So updating all the photos, taking a bunch of photos that we have available. We've got a bunch more for Wildcat Falls. She would love to see photos for the lesser-known properties like Mitchell Woods and Ireland property added. So they're going to work on photos as long as we can fill the photo bin up. The other thing I asked her to do is to create pages for our subcommittees for each of the major properties, the 3 subcommittees we have. So I was going to put some content together, some idea of what I'd like to see, and then once we get a page that's visible, we can say to each one of the subcommittees here, this is the basic page we started with. What do you want your page to look like? What do you want to do there? So that way the subcommittees can have some ownership of a page on their property.
There's going to be some general borders and such that are standard and can't be modified.
Well, yeah, so we'll try to use some of that, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to work on creating subcommittee pages for the 3 subcommittees, and we'll play with it a little bit and see what that comes up with, because, we're under contract for 3.5 hours of work, so we're not doing a whole website redesign on a quarterly basis.
Right.
So the other thing that we agreed to is, if you look at all the property pages in the main page has a gallery that goes around. Well, if that gallery gets too big, that's a lot of data that's getting sent down to your mobile device or other things, which
Mhm.
could become a data problem for some people who are sensitive to the amount of data they use. So we talked about having them create a gallery page. And if you go to that page, you know that you're going to be looking at lots of photos, and maybe there are a bunch of thumbnails that you can then drive into. But you'd probably want to do that on your desktop anyways.
Mhm.
And it would be a great place for us to add videos as well. So they're going to kick around the idea of creating a gallery page, which could then have sub-pages off of it if it was necessary. So if you want to just sit and watch photos and see things of the properties, that's the place to go to. So that way, we keep the web traffic to a reasonable level on each of the properties. There'll still be the galleries that are there, just not. If we put 100 photos there, that would be a lot of downloading happening on your mobile device. So.
Do you want me to, on the Facebook page that Steve Larson started for Merrimack Outdoors, even though it's not connected to us, do you want me to ask them if anybody wants to submit pictures to, go on the website?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, so when they submit a picture, they have to give us permission to use it. Okay? So, or what you can say is, by submitting a picture, you grant permission for us to utilize it, okay?
Does she have that? I think there's a picture submission.
Yeah, right.
I
Yeah,
think
it
that's
does.
part of it.
Yeah, but I just want them to, whoever you talk to, I just want those people to be clear that they're giving us permission to use the pictures.
How would they send us the picture, though? Would they upload it to Merrimack Out? She has a way to, on the website,
Mm-hmm.
to
Well,
upload a picture?
Right now, what we decided to do was that pictures need to come through members,
Okay,
so we can vet them.
okay.
Because I don't want, if people go straight to her, and she wouldn't do something stupid, like she wouldn't load a picture of a bear can or something like that.
So why don't I give them my Merrimack email address
Mhm.
and have them
You can
send?
do that, or they can upload them to, they can also email and attach them to the, well, I guess the Merrimack Outdoors doesn't, I suppose they could attach it to it directly.
If they send it to the Merrimack Outdoors email address, it'll go to whoever's watching that email, which
Yeah.
currently is Gage and myself and Tim Thompson.
Do you want to do that, or do you want me to just have them send it to me right now?
It's, if you want to manage that, then
I can
please have
do
them
that.
come to you.
Sure, I
Yeah.
can do that.
So, and also would be great to know which property
Okay,
and the date of the photo, or relative date, say January or something, okay?
okay, so which property, date?
Yeah, and permission to use.
And permission
And
to
and you could
use.
just tell people that's implied by sending it here,
Okay,
okay?
excellent.
So those are the things we're gonna work on in the first quarter. I think that's a good piece to get going. Also, Wendy's provided me a bunch of videos for editing, and whoever else wants to help edit the webpage can certainly get those videos.
Oh,
So
are they
I'll pass
on the
them.
web? Can we get them from the webpage?
Yeah.
And the help?
I'll look at how, I've seen them all, I figured exactly what the mechanism was. but I-
Videos
I
of
put
what?
down.
How to manage the webpage?
Oh.
Yeah,
Should I include videos?
sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so photos and videos.
People have I mean, a long time ago, I submitted a video in our old website of a beaver out on Lustoka Pond slapping his tail all over.
Gage must have been there.
So, right, yeah.
They love Gage.
It's it on the web page, on the website.
Okay. Subcommittee updates. I think you've already kind of given yours if you want.
Yeah.
Give more.
Nope, that's it, and that we set dates, so I'll be putting dates into the calendar once they're approved by Amy, so, for the rest of the year, so.
Okay.
Greater Woods is done.
Okay.
We haven't had another meeting yet. I think we have another meeting next month.
Okay.
It's our next meeting or so.
We got one thing that we got to keep in the back of heads. We got to go out and get that trail, walk that trail when it starts to. We get to that point where it's past the mud season enough to go out there and walk. But we want to keep that trail in the forefront.
I did go out on this past Sunday, and it looked fine. But I think Dawn's probably going out often and keeping it going. But it looked fine that day.
Oh, the other trail.
Oh, the other trail. Okay.
The
Yes, the one that we have to get
going
back
up the hill. The one that trying to.
to. Okay. Yes, that
That
one.
one. That
I have
other,
not been to
but
that
that
one.
other one also.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
true. Both of them.
And I think I got a tick.
Oh, no.
Already?
They're out.
Already?
No, it's
Yeah.
not already. They're out there all season long.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
I
you're out
was
in the woods,
surprised.
if you're out in the woods, I don't care what time of year it is. I don't care what the temperature is. Check yourself when you get home.
Well, and I know I felt
It-
bad. I
yeah.
didn't. One of my cats got it. I'm like, sorry. My special needs cat that doesn't walk. So I'm like, how did you possibly get a tick? So it had to have come from me, you know. But I
Can't believe
know.
you did that to her. You're so.
I know.
awful
I felt
person.
terrible. I'm like, wait a minute. You have a tick, you know.
And years ago, I was over at a friend's house and we found a tick in her 6-month-old baby's ear.
Ooh.
Where was this baby?
Wow. Yeah.
They had a
Wars movie or
dog.
something?
They had a
Oh,
dog, so it must
okay.
have come in on the dog.
Somebody brought it
The dog
in
could
and-
have like 20 of them.
Yeah.
All right. So there's no other subcommittee updates. We do not have minutes. Those are going to be postponed until the next meeting. Does anyone have any? We had no meetings from the public. No comments from the public. So we're back to commissioner comments. John.
If you need another canoe, for the time being, I have one. A nice Grumman aluminum job.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay. But I can probably help you out with personal flotation stuff, but if you got your own, it'd be better. I think I only got 2 paddles. But we brought it up was out in western Massachusetts. We brought it up last summer, before my back went out. The other thing is, not only am I not running for office, we are putting the house on the market by the end of the month.
Oh, wow.
We decided that we were going to move to be closer to our daughter and her family in Maine, just given what's going on. So,
Where in Maine?
out Westbrook, outside of Portland.
Okay. That's going to be culture shock.
Yeah, no kidding. So, anyway,
You're planning on that happening fairly quickly.
I hope so.
Okay.
But, we're in a position where, if the house sells, the house sells. If it doesn't sell, we're not destitute or out on the street or anything like that, so, we just reload and wait and come back again.
Okay.
But it's not a property for everybody because of the age of the property and the size of the house. So, hey, we'll have to see how it goes. But I just don't be, I could see you driving by and seeing the sign and going, what's this?
Yeah, thanks for
How
letting
old
us
is your
know.
house? What year was it? Around what year?
The original property dates back to 1736.
So a little bit older than the,
However, that part of the property is long gone, because I've got an old picture from an real estate advertising that showed the old cape on the back end of the house where we now have the 2 floors that run all the way back. The front part of the house is 1800, 1808, somewhere in, the mid-late federal period when that was put on. So that's the older and the most genuinely antique part of the house. I mean, they got the hand-hewn beams in the library, and it's post and beam, gunstock corners, those sorts of things. So, anyway, it took us the light in the to give you an idea of this. The light in the dining room went out at Thanksgiving, so I finally got an electrician to come and look at it. It took him 8 hours to do the 30 minutes of work he needed to do to get that thing working again, because we had to find where the wiring went. Yeah, you should have. They did what?
Almost worth a battery in the light, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I mean, geez, the guy was extremely patient. And the reason they sent me is because I'm a 3rd-generation electrician, so I've seen and heard about most everything.
well, there was no electricity when your house was built. So
Yeah,
right.
that stuff was all wired in after, and
Right.
who knows where they would have put it.
Yeah, well, this was amazing the way they did it. And like I said, it took him like all day to get it done, just because of the way it was routed and where it went and all the other. So anyway, that gives you a picture of some of the stuff that goes on in that place. So anyway,
Probably when they put it in, there were no codes, so.
no, there were not. So there were no wire nuts either.
I miss you.
Yeah, I'm going to miss it. It's going to be a culture shock. Not only culture shock, but now what do I do?
Oh, you'll find things.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Find something.
He'll come to our meetings.
You have
Oh,
to
yeah.
fix Maine.
You can watch us on TV.
No, thank you.
Streaming video.
No, thank you.
All right.
No, it's like me going back to South Jersey and trying to fix that. Ah, no.
No.
So anyway, until such time as we're no longer around, there's another canoe you can have access to.
Pretty close to White Pine Swamp, so thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Tom.
The only thing I was going to ask, I'm sorry, were you done?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I was going to ask is, speaking of graphics and logos and stuff, does the Merrimack Conservation Commission have a specific logo?
No, only the
No.
town does.
Okay. So if at some point when I get this Friends and Family off the ground, if I do want to do something, can I either have someone, I mean, I'm thinking it would be fun to have like kids do like a, contribute artwork and pick something, or, if I have a friend that's willing to do it for, crocheted stuff, can I make something, like to go on, how like Merrimack, the Friends of the Library have those book bags and they have a little doohickey, because I'm thinking, well, it would be fun to, sell rucksacks or something like that with a little logo. Is that something that I could do? Or am I opening up a can of worms here and we want to talk about this another time? Because everybody's tired.
A Conservation Commission logo.
A logo for the commission, or a logo for your
Just something
your
that's,
little thing?
yeah, something for my little thing. Not something that you guys would
Well-
have to, stick with forever, but,
What is your little thing?
well, because if, we've talked about starting up Friends of the Merrimack Conservation Commission.
Okay.
Okay, so to do that, and I'm thinking of Merrimack, the Friends of the Merrimack Library, and they have the book bags. So I'm thinking, those like
They're
string
an independent
rucksacks?
organization,
Right.
and so are you. And if that's the case, you can do whatever the heck you want.
Okay, I like that.
Got it right.
Excellent. Okay, good, thank you.
Yep.
Okay,
Because you're probably going to file,
I'd have to file for,
you can file with the state and then maybe a 501c3.
yeah, I looked at all of their rules, and I'm gonna talk to one of the people that's on the
Yeah.
thing, and I also have to talk to Paul about what would need to be done. And then when I get all my ducks in a row, duck boxes, then I will be back with a detailed plan. Okay, sounds good, thank you.
I don't have anything.
Cindy? Matt?
Nothing here.
I'm talked out.
Okay. Good.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so we adjourn the meeting at 8:36.
It might even be fluid.
See, the other thing is,
How did that get there?
I stumbled upon it.
There's a school bus. How did it get? You mean,
Someone's aerial shot?
yeah, you physically?
I have no idea how long that thing was. And it's got a bunch of blisters. It's got a bunch of gear mounts.
Yeah.
Whereabouts is this?
Inside of it?
Yeah. You're not.
Oh,